morning. I'm Catherine Bostian. I'm a senior CRM manager at Delivery Hero. And as Lorenzo said, I'm here today to talk about how to scale globally, but to also maintain a local touch. So I hope everybody has had enough coffee and enough to eat and is ready to go on this topic, because I'm really thrilled to be here today to talk with you guys and share how we've done this at Delivery Hero and also how you can do it in your day-to-day business as well. So first off, what is Delivery Hero? You might not have heard of us, but you've probably heard of one of our brands. We actually are in 39 countries around the world, 5 continents, and we have 30 brands total that represent and make up Delivery Hero. So we're a really big company, and we're constantly growing and scaling and adding new customers to our customer base. The way that we make it work is that we have a local team in every region that we operate, as well as a central team located here in Berlin. You might have heard of some of our brands like Food Panda or Petadosia, Foodora, Talabat, or Pizza Online. The CRM team has 24 people located in 2 locations. We actually help support 25 of the Delivery Hero brands in 36 of the countries around the world. This is a huge effort, and what we're all aiming to do together is to create the best customer experience, retention, and engagement possible. So how do we do that? Well, now we do that with automation and marketing technology. But how did we get here? How did we get to a place where technology and marketing are now so closely intertwined? Well, let me go back to the beginning. About a decade ago, towards the beginning of my career, I was working as a CRM manager at a small company. And all of our customers actually came from a list that our founder brought me. That was our whole database. We knew nothing else about these customers except their email addresses and that they've probably had met our founder at least once. We were sending them a newsletter. We were sending them invitations to participate in our events and also to buy our product. As you can imagine, this was not super effective. We've moved now to a place where marketing is personalized. So we're using things like name, collecting information like the gender of the customer, or using things like their last purchase or something that they might have abandoned in their cart in order to reach out to customers and better engage with them. So we might say, hey Beth, do you remember that flight you were thinking about taking? Or hey John, you remember those shoes that you were thinking about buying? Or even collect data in order to better market to the users in the future. Then we can use that data, save it in our database, connect it to our tools that we use every day in order to better engage with customers. And that's where we are today. We're at the age of personalization. But the next step in marketing, and where we're trying to move towards, and where the infrastructure that I'm going to be speaking about today lives, is in the realm of what I like to call friend RM. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. Friend RM is friend relationship management. Friend relationship management uses more than just one data point, not just somebody's name, not just maybe their gender, but multiple data points in order to really understand the customer and reach out to them in a way that really connects with them, not only connects with them, but also helps them in a meaningful way, like telling somebody that they have to leave at a certain time in order to arrive on time to a location that they have in their calendar, or in order to help somebody find a deal that they might not know about and engage with it. Friend RM has a few different attributes. One of them is that it's considerate. A good friend probably won't text you in the middle of the night when they know that you're sleeping. And the same thing goes for the CRM communications that we send. We don't want to send something at a time when we know our users will be sleeping. It's also empathetic. It understands the customers on a deep level, their interests, and only sends things that the customers would actually be interested in to them. Just like you probably wouldn't suggest a burger to your vegan friend. It's respectful. It connects with the customer at a frequency that they're comfortable with, and you can find this out by maybe somebody's more comfortable with messaging once a day or once a week, or even sometimes with certain companies or industries once a year. It really depends on the person and understanding their needs. It has a high emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is like IQ for emotions. It means that you understand where the other person is in the relationship to you, and that you engage with them at a level that they're comfortable with for that place in their customer journey. So that means that if somebody is just signing up for your app, you're probably not going to send them something that you would send to a high use or frequency user or to a churning user. And lastly, they're a you expert. They know what to get you for your birthday. And in our case, we know exactly what deal to send to a given user based on who they are and what they like. But then we come to the problem of, how do we do this on a global scale? How do we be a good friend to millions of customers? You can imagine that when you have 3 friends or 4 friends, it might be not so challenging to know these things about them and to be able to engage with them in a way that they're comfortable with. But then when you get to the scale of millions of users, you need to find a way to do this efficiently. And that's where automation comes in. We can use robots, we can use these types of infrastructures to automate the processes that start to learn things about our customers. Another great tool is using lookalikes. So we've been able to find out that customers who have similar attributes tend to like the same things, they tend to be moving at the same speed as other customers. And we can start to use that data and that lookalike data in order to start to message them or give them offers that they would be interested in. So how did we do this at Delivery Hero? I'm going to be talking today about the gift aspect of Glocation. So Glocation is the combination of a global scale with a local touch. And what does that mean when it comes to giving someone the perfect gift? In our case, this was vouchers. And so we wanted to be able to give the perfect voucher to the user based on their specific attributes. And that would eventually create what we nicknamed Zootopia. Zootopia is a place that is not mythical, that actually is able to figure out for a given user based on their specific attributes, the conditions, the exact time frame, the market goals, what the best voucher is for that user. The first step is experimentation. We actually ran an experiment across 14 different countries, about 1.5 million users, with 9 potential combinations of voucher attributes. We completely randomized this in order to get learnings about what would be best for any given user at any given time. We kept this as clean as possible, and we kept it open so that we could do as much post-analysis as we wanted in order to get various learnings, like which attributes would be actually the most powerful ones in deciding what segmentation to use. Then we crunched the data, or more appropriately, our data analyst crunched the data, and we had a few learnings. The first one is that the voucher parameters that we had, the different combinations that we had, did in fact have a huge impact on whether or not the users were able to activate from them. Then also quantity matters. So if you give somebody 1 versus 3 vouchers, that has a huge effect, and it varies drastically per country what is the most effective application of the quantity of vouchers. And then our golden nugget, kind of what we had hoped for and built our hypothesis around, is that segmentation actually had the biggest impact on voucher effectiveness. So with this information, we took it to the next level. We started already implementing the best voucher in every given country. So we had kind of a base layer of this Glocation concept, but we wanted to take it even further. And so what we did was we developed this idea of the Zootopia brain. There's a table with over 5,000 different customer profiles, and those customer profiles are associated with the ideal voucher value and minimum order value combination for any given user in our database. Then there's an API that is like a voucher sorting hat, and it looks through these customer profiles, and given the customer attributes, it assigns the perfect voucher for that user. Then we can use that voucher in our communications. We can send them the voucher through our CRM tool and actually see how it performs. And so far, we've actually seen really great results. The way that we rolled this out was that we created the machine learning defined segments. So our data analyst used machine learning in order to figure out the attributes per country that had the most impact on the voucher effectiveness, and then created every row represents one customer based on that country's ideal combination of attributes. We have our optimized strategy. That's the strategy that uses this voucher sorting hat. And then we have an experimentation lane where we continue to randomize all of our voucher values in order to get up-to-date learnings and to be able to keep our learnings as fresh as possible, since everything is constantly changing, and we want to make sure that we're not using stale data. The future state of Zootopia is what I like to call a perpetual optimization machine. And what that means is, if you're familiar with the concept of a perpetual motion machine, it's a machine that continually optimizes itself without human intervention. What we had been doing for a while was very manual. We were figuring out, after the experiment, which vouchers perform best on the country basis. We were running the machine learning script. We were generating the table. But in the future, what we're going to have is a continual optimization where the data from our actual live performance of campaigns feeds back to our table where the machine learning script is happening and runs it on a regular basis in order to keep our optimized voucher values up to date. And this is actually the tech stack that we're going to be using to make this possible. So, what can you take back today in order to start bringing this type of globalized, local touch infrastructure to your day-to-day work? First of all, make sure that you're challenging the status quo. What we looked at first was the assumptions that we were making about our customers and what they would want. Namely, in our case, the voucher values that we were assigning to them, and we decided to do something about it, rather than just keep it based on what we thought they might like. Then also test new approaches. Set up an experiment that gathers multi-dimensional learnings. When you test something, make sure that it's done in a way where you're not just going to get one learning out of it. If you're running a huge experiment like this, make sure that you're going to be able to do a really in-depth post-analysis where you can get multi-dimensional learnings. Then build an infrastructure. So start to look at the different technologies that you can use in order to make this possible, where you can have something that's on a global level, but has these dynamic variables that you can tweak on a per customer or a per country basis. Lastly, continue to iterate. Never stop iterating, never stop experimenting, never stop testing your assumptions. This is key in order to stay at the forefront, to make sure that you're as relevant as possible for your users. And this is how you can make it possible to build this perpetual optimization framework, because then you can be as relevant and as engaged and as good of a friend as possible to all of your users. Thank you.